Alrighty, so it's already January 11th of 2024, and given that Disney and all of its divisions, such as Walt Disney Animation Studios, Marvel Studios, and let's not forget about Lucasfilm, have been suffering based on many of their announcements and recent releases of films and/or TV shows that have vastly underperformed, that have actually shocked Bob Iger and the rest of the board of directors over there, it's not looking good for this year, and it's most certainly not looking good for 2025, especially for everything related to the Marvel slate and the Star Wars slate. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, those like Kathleen Kennedy, Daisy Ridley, Stephen Knight, and even Sharmeen Chinoy, I like to call her Sharmeen Anoy, not to give out nicknames too much, but let's face it, that's a perfect, rhyme there. But what's interesting about everything related to the upcoming Rey Star Wars film is that there's so much drama surrounding this film, based all off of Kathleen Kennedy's lack of vision and lack of leadership skills, and how she has remained to this very day very stubborn when it comes to fan backlash, the pushback by fans, and how a lot of fans are just abandoning ship when it comes to everything Lucasfilm. Let's get into all of this and exactly what Kathleen Kennedy had to say when it comes to her stand against George Lucas, against Star Wars Legends, also known as the Expanded Universe, etc., etc. Now, we already know that Kathleen Kennedy is not going to stop. She's going to continue to spew out terrible Star Wars material, be it TV shows or films, and it's not going to end in the next couple of years. Now, with the Rey movie Backlash only getting worse for Disney right now, Kathleen Kennedy has been heading into full damage control and desperately defending the film, which is led by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. One major development has to do with Kathleen Kennedy and her stand against George Lucas by delivering the following. As president of Lucasfilm, it is my responsibility to ensure that our entire slate, both for film and television, should properly move on from both the Skywalker legacy and George's vision so that we can create something new from the ground up without holding on to any kind of a burden of the past films that George brought into this world. This is about disconnecting from characters that have been widely recognized in pop culture, and our push to providing this importance of Rey by creating a new generation for a new generation of moviegoers for everything Star Wars. I would be lying if we didn't have our differences with George when we brought this story on the table. It was hard for him to accept such an alteration of the franchise. However, we insisted that this was the direction that we needed to go in. We didn't have enough proper source material from what George endorsed well over 20 years ago that would have fit our vision and our characters. And I am more than happy to have Sharmeen on board with us to lead this story in a new direction while working with Steven. If we were to chase another vision that even remotely featured Luke or the Skywalker family, it would have been stealing the limelight away from our new characters, and especially how we are attempting to give Rey the proper treatment much like Luke received in the originals that we didn't get a chance to fully explore in the sequel films by JJ and Ryan. Our entire film slate is about moving on from what George established. Had we expanded his vision, we believe it would have been redundant, artistically and symbolically, for our stories. It would have lacked depth and honesty in the character stories as well. It is about time women are the focus in our films, and something both I and Sharmeen agreed on. We are both deeply excited of what Leslie is developing with the upcoming Acolyte series as our first true female ensemble Star Wars series that will truly shift away from George and his format. We find no need to expand what some fans call the expanded universe beat by beat. Our best strategy to create new and yet familiar tales to loyal fans is by cherry-picking from the most popular source material that may have never gained traction that it needed back then, and how we can shed light on those unknown stories as well to a majority of both new and old fans alike. Now, guys, let me just stop right here for one moment before I move on. The thing about Kathleen Kennedy and what she's saying here, what this all translates to, is basically, let's take some of the popular and more unknown books and or comics from Star Wars Legends, also known as the Expanded Universe, that, by the way, was completely decanonized by Disney and obliterated by Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy to write over everything that fans cherished for 30 plus years, mind you. I mean, ever since The Return of the Jedi came out, everything after that was all Legends content. Whether it be books, novels, comics, video games, doesn't matter. It was very expansive, like a library's worth of material that Disney could have adapted and they chose not to. So again, here you have it, Kathleen Kennedy doubling down on admitting that choosing George's vision would only make things worse for the future of this franchise and where they want it to go for the next couple of years and beyond. Now look, we already know that they're not taking the Rey movie Backlash well. This is also known as the New Jedi Order film that is still aimed to debut by May of 2026, originally slated for 2025. It was delayed, by the way, because of the writer's strike, everything happening with SAG, etc., etc. However, moving onwards, let's get into more of this. She goes on to conclude, alright, on top of all of that, alright, Kathleen Kennedy, at no surprise, goes on to actually deliver the following further. We felt it was unnecessary for us to actually use any of George's input so that we don't have to play things safely anymore, moving onwards with our adventures for both live action and animated features for a galaxy far, far away. So she's also admitting that in the past, they have played things safe by piggybacking on George Lucas's creations. Basically what they did with The Force Awakens, it was A New Hope 2.0. The only exception out of all of Disney Star Wars in my book, I don't know about you guys, was Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. It was at least a decent Star Wars film that had some familiarity in there. You know, you got the Death Star, you've got Darth Vader in there, you've got the Rebel Alliance, you've got Leia at the end. There's a couple of things here and there that are used wisely, and rightfully so. So I think that Rogue One was a decent film. It wasn't a great film by my standards, but I thought it did the job well. So looking at Kathleen Kennedy here, this is yet again another attack on George Lucas, openly making it clear that they want nothing to do with him anymore at all, not even piggybacking on his past creation of films. And that basically is somewhat hypocritical, because here you have it. They are confirming that they're going to call her Rey Skywalker by name in this upcoming movie. If that's not any other way to confirm that they're still piggybacking on George Lucas, then I don't know what is. Because it is. So it's all hypocritical nonsense. It's all contradictory. Typical Kathleen Kennedy, behavior and the way that she goes about saying things to the fans. But not a surprise again. And look, we know that 2026, it's going to be awful for Lucasfilm. We have that specific movie coming out for the first time in years, since 2019, which was The Rise of Skywalker, by the way, which was rejected by so many fans to begin with. You would think that you wouldn't want to make a film that adapts that, right? So overall, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.